Hey there, welcome to the Snailed It podcast with Danikka and Erin, brought to you by Author's Own Publishing.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Snailed It podcast with Danikka and Erin. Today we are talking pen names, which is something that has been on our list for a little while, but then I recently saw a thread from another author and it got me thinking about it again.
Yeah. Especially because I've recently started my pen name as well. And it does present unique marketing challenges, I think, especially if you're going to go the full hog with the pen name and not use your face or anything like that. Like some people use a pen name and still use their face and things like that, but they're just, don't want to use their real name. But I thought it was quite interesting as well because a lot of the times people associate just using a pen name with if you're writing something that you don't want people to know that you're writing.
Yes.
I feel like people, when they find out who the author is that posted the post, will also think that, because if you have listened to our most recent buddy read, Butcher and Blackbird, Bryn Weaver is the author of that book and it's her post. And so if you listen to that buddy read, you know that the content of Bryn's books is quite not safe for work.
Very, very not safe for work. But I must admit that I just assumed that was her real name.
Yeah.
I assumed that was her real name as someone who uses a pen name. Which is probably the more ironic part of that. I think I just assume, and I don't know why I assume that as someone who uses a pen name, because I'm not using a pen name for the reason of, I don't want people to know or whatever. It was more that when I'm Erin Thomson, I'm putting on the Erin Thomson hash.
Yeah.
I feel like author Erin and normal Erin, it makes it easier that I only changed my surname. They're two different people in my head.
Yeah.
If we're talking inside out characters, author Erin is much cooler than normal Erin.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel about my author persona as well. It's
she will not be named.
Yeah, I haven't decided yet if I'm going to own up to who, because I'm still very writing has a lot of, not to get TMI, but it has a lot of trauma around it for me. So the fact that I'm even writing again, properly and taking it seriously and not just maybe I'll write one day and I start a story here and there. It's no, I'm actually writing again. It's very tender. Yeah. So I'm just, some people obviously know because I am terrible at keeping secrets from people who I know in real life. But yeah, for the online thingy, it's very, I want something that's just for me and not connected to Author's Own and everything at the moment. But yeah, so I thought, let's read this post from Bryn because I hadn't really ever thought about it from this perspective either. I was using a pen name purely because I just wanted it to have something for myself. You were using a pen name to compartmentalize the writing. And so basically we were both using a pen name for the same reason, but just slightly different. But I really was this is an interesting way to look at it, and I hadn't thought of it. But so Bryn says, aspiring authors, I'm begging you, use a pen name. And then she says in quotes, but no one will know I succeeded. Who cares? Seriously, who the fuck cares? What is worth risking? Don't assume everyone around you or even 2 steps from you is safe or rational. They are not. You might wake up one day to discover you are a target. Defend yourself and your loved ones. Trust me, all capitals. And on the face of it, it does seem quite dramatic. But recently there was an author who went very, very viral for all the wrong reasons.
Was that specifically here in Australia? Because she was an Australian author.
Even if it was specifically Australia, the consequences were still the same. She used multiple pen names, but someone still managed to find out her real name and reveal it online.
Yeah.
With they said, intention of wanting to protect that person's children.
Yeah.
But
which
is very misguided.
Well, yeah, that's not your place, random person on the internet who doesn't know this person.
Well, and also revealing that person's name and the fact that they have children online to the whole world is not keeping those children safe. Reporting that person to the police anonymously is keeping those children safe, and keeping their names offline is keeping them safe.
Yes.
It's not revealing one of their parents' real name online and, for them to be doxxed and stalked and all of those other things.
Yeah.
So yes, I can immediately, as soon as I read this, I connected it to that situation because that was absolutely horrifying for me, because I do not condone what that person did at all. But I also don't condone their real name being revealed online to be doxxed.
No.
Because the police did do what they needed to do. That is now. Yeah. But yeah, I do think that one was probably a very extreme case. Like that author did end up being arrested and charged, I believe. We're not saying that what the author did is right or that they need defending. But what I'm also saying is that revealing someone's real name online in this scenario where people can get very angry and violent and take things into their own hands, also not right. That's not
right. So she was obviously using a pen name with her content. That was obviously to protect herself, you would imagine, because that was
and potentially her children as well.
Potentially her children. Yeah. So we were just thinking about it as two people who do use pen names, and after seeing that post with Bryn. And I know quite a few other authors who use pen names.
Yeah, and the comments on this post are really interesting because I was expecting there to be a bit of like back and forth, but like the top comment on it is, I'm so glad I used a pen name. I've had folks try to find me or figure out my real name and address, etc. I can get real uncomfortable real fast. I think it's worse if you write romance, but maybe not. I say err on the side of caution. My family didn't sign up for this.
And that's some of the feedback I've heard, especially from a friend who was like, well, it's like my name is my husband's name and my in-law's name. And, she's like, they didn't sign up. It's like the same thing. They didn't sign up for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So and I'm like, yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would be curious to know how many authors who didn't use a pen name, who do use their government name, whatever you want to call it, how many of those people regret that decision? Like, would you, if you were doing it again, would you choose a pen name?
Yeah. I mean, it becomes messy. Like there's a comment here, what happens when others know who you really are in real life for events and signings? If you get big enough, couldn't they be like, oh yeah, their real name is XYZ? How do you keep it totally separate?
Well, I don't think you can.
Well, exactly. And Bryn replied, and she's like, they could be, hang on, I have to look at Threads confuses me. I feel like such a millennial.
I always click the wrong place, and like I click comments thinking it will show me the comments, but it doesn't. It just tells me, make your comment. I'm like, no, I want to read the comments. Threads. Yeah. I do feel deeply millennial using Threads.
But Bryn says, I find those two lives don't really intersect for me, and most people I know in real life who know I write don't ever go to book events. I'm pretty lucky, I think, though. My in real life friends are protective and I'm careful about who knows what. And I do think that she is lucky in that sense, because I feel like both of us, as an example, a lot of our friends are also authors.
Not my using air quotes in real life friends though. That's true. Yeah, my in real life friends are not author friends, like my pre-author line. I don't really. I'm not being particularly eloquent this morning. Yeah, but I also think it's tricky, like as well, because especially with Bryn and most people, like she shows her face online, so it's like I suppose it's that thing that if people wanted to, how do you keep it separate? And you can try, but there will be people who will try to be creeps, I suppose, and do the digging. And some people will be doing it from a place of like not being cruel or nasty, like from a place of, I don't want to say obsession, that might be a little bit strong, but like because they love your work so much.
Yeah.
Like it's not necessarily a bad thing, but there's still, do people want that level of anonymity?
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's another comment. I feel like it's good to kind of see both sides. Someone here says, I personally want my real name to be known because that's who I am and that's what I've always dreamed of. I feel like most of the stuff people want to avoid by having a pen name just comes with the territory of being a writer. And I don't fully agree with that, but I can see where they're coming from.
Totally. I think there is also a level of it depends what you write. It does depend what you write, because if you, again, in Bryn Weaver's case, she is writing about serial killers.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of blood and gore and people plucking eyeballs from sockets and things. And I suppose there is the danger that people would assume that she's down with that. Like, would she enjoy if I sent her an eyeball in the mail or something? And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that she would not be okay with that. No, thank you. No, thank you. Those are fictional stories. They are not me in my real life.
I also just think, like, not to bring, I mean, I shouldn't be ashamed of this, but this is going to be more of a women's issue than a men's issue.
100%.
Yeah, because men, yes, while they do get stalked, while they do have problems with people having overly parasocial relationships with them, we see it with male celebrities a lot. It happens exponentially more with women in celebrity status, at normal everyday status, than it does at men at any level in society. And so worrying about getting a pen name when you're a male author, though an AMAB author, is going to be a lot less of an issue than it is for someone who's AFAB or a trans person.
True.
Because the threat is just nowhere near as high, and people just don't have that entitlement to your person.
To everything. To your everything.
To your everything.
Yeah,
because
true.
What you do when you're a woman is smile at someone the wrong way, and then they decide that they're going to invent a whole fucking life with you in their head.
Very true. Oh, God.
And it just makes me sad. Like, it's empowering to have a pen name in the sense that of what the reason you and I use it, in that it can compartmentalize your life for you. And I find it, like, if I think about being my pen name when I'm writing and when I'm doing things, and I've got, little motifs and a color scheme and things that go with that. And so I've started to incorporate more of those things into my life, and I'm starting to be able to embody that creativity and open up that part of myself in a way that I haven't been able to until I created that pen name. It was like I had to separate being an author from Danikka, who was traumatized, and Danikka, who was told she couldn't be an author, and Danikka, who was told being a writer was childish, and all of these other things before I could finally do it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So I think there are positives to it. It's not the only reason you would use a pen name. It's not for all of these bad things. And as we've seen with the examples that we've been discussing, using a pen name is not a fail-safe proof method of keeping you safe. No. People who are determined to find you will probably still find you, but it's just a precaution that you can take.
Well, yeah, it's just an extra layer of security. Like, it's, yeah. And then there are other people, like there is someone who pops up in my reels often who writes quite dark romance, I think, which she very honestly says that she's like, this isn't stuff that I just write in my books. Like, this is something that I do in real life as well. And so she doesn't show her face. You only ever see her from behind.
Yeah.
Like the back of her head and stuff while she's tippy-tapping away. Yeah, so especially in that, when you're quite clearly saying it's like, no, this isn't just fictional for me, like this is my real life too, I can totally understand why you would not want to be showing your face, because you could absolutely, like, as a woman, get some freaking creeps being like, oh, cool, so you want to be kidnapped. Like, not by you, mate.
No. Yeah, exactly.
Jesus. Yeah.
But the name of the episode is Should You Use a Pen Name, Yes or No? And I mean, really, like, we both use pen names and have found it to be beneficial. And we both also know authors who are now getting further advanced into their careers who didn't use pen names and are starting to wish that they had, and are starting to kind of try to navigate, well, if they started a pen name, how would they do it? How do they kind of rebrand? If they don't want to continue to write under their own name, what do they do with their older books? So honestly, I'm of the opinion, if you haven't started under your real name yet, maybe consider a pen name, even if it is just changing your last name like you have.
Yeah. Or you can think of a whole new one, which honestly I think would be more fun. And like, I think if I'd put more thought into it, maybe I would have chosen a whole new name, because like thinking of a whole new name is fun. Well, it's like naming a character, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Which is one of my favourite things to do. Yeah, and I also like the idea of, once you have one pen name, do you like, do I make a whole like suite of pen names for different genres, if that's what I wanted to do? Although the idea of that is also slightly daunting, because it's like, Jesus Christ, then I need to have, 5 or 6 friggin' Instagrams, social media profiles to keep up with that. And I can't keep up with the one I have. So the answer to that would be a big fat no.
Yeah, exactly. That brings up like the other debate, which is like lots of people in Bryn's comments were talking about how they have pen names for every genre that they write. And I've decided I will not be doing that, even though I do want to write multiple genres. They're all going to be under my one name, because I don't want to be managing multiple social medias. It might not lead to as much quote unquote success as other people find with niching down specifically with each name. But like, I need to do what's sustainable for me.
Totally. Yeah. I don't think you have to do that with the multiple pen names. Although I do like the idea of like lots of fantasy and stuff with like initials and then her surname. Like that feels more like mysterious, you know.
They did that so that women could hide that they were women and look like men, though.
Gross.
That's why they do that.
Now I feel like men do that in the romance genre so that they can look like women, which also gross. Grosser, actually, in that. That feels manipulative to me.
Yeah, it's not fighting the patriarchy. It's inserting yourself into spaces where you're not really welcome.
I have that is another episode. That is one of my little bugbears.
I don't know. I mean, like, obviously people can write whatever they want to write, all of those things. It's just really hard. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a whole other tangent.
Yeah, that is a tangent that we do not need to go down.
Queer romance is a different space, obviously. We're talking about straight romance written for women as the audience.
Yes, 100%.
Queer romance, we want to just say a different thing, but
100%.
Straight romance written for women, cis women specifically as the audience, written by men, a bit strange.
Just a bit.
Yeah.
It's a topic for another day.
Well, I mean, I think we actually do have a podcast coming up.
It's good to say, right?
We do.
Or has that already been? Perhaps that is a topic that we've already discussed.
It could have been. That's the problem with recording these things out of order.
I don't know.
Let's have a quick check.
Well, if it's not already been on, perhaps we will record more of a caveat. I don't know. Let's see.
It was an episode before this one. Why women prefer reading sex scenes written by women. So we could incorporate that. I think in the episode we were talking about romance as a whole as well. So
yes, true.
We've already talked about that.
Yeah. So, but we could talk about it again, honestly.
Yeah, let's keep going.
Pen names. So I think yes or no, I would err on yes.
Yeah, I would err on yes.
I think I would go yes.
Especially with privacy becoming more and more of a valued kind of novelty where it's like so much of our lives is online, whether we want it to be or not. If you can take back at least part of control with that, with a pen name, I think yes.
And if it is that thing, and if you don't want to do it because of that, well, how will people know that I've succeeded? The people close to you who you would be celebrating with will know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like who else do you need to know?
You will know.
Like you will know, and your partner, hopefully, if you have a partner who is supportive, will know, and your parents, if you still speak to your parents, will know, and whoever, and family and whoever. But
your bank account will know.
Your bank account will know. But like, are you hoping that like you'll get a New York Times bestseller and that your bully from high school will see it and go, God damn it, she's better than me.
Yeah.
You know?
In which case, maybe therapy.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, we will say, should I have a pen name? Yes. We think yes.
We think yes. But obviously, as always, you're not required to agree with us. That's just what we think. And this was a more waffly episode than normal because we've done quite a few more structured episodes recently. So we thought, let's just have
a waffle.
Let's throw it to the wind for a bit. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys in the next episode.
But we also want to hear, do you use a pen name for authors out there? Did you not use a pen name and you regret it?
Yeah.
Like, tell us. Give us your thought. We want a convo.
Yes.
Let us know.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. But otherwise, we'll see you next time.
Yes. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Snailed It podcast with Danikka and Erin, brought to you by Author's Own Publishing, the home of indie publishing. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts and follow us on Instagram at Author's Own Publishing. Music brought to you by Mikkel, with more details in the show notes.